Hi guys, back at it again. This is Jeff at the Coin Show. I'm going to pick up where I left off searching the Lincoln Cent books. See here, this is collection number 2, 1941 to 1974. A quick recap. These were books I started when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, somewhere around there. My grandfather got me into coin roll hunting, and he was trying to fill his book, collection number 1, 1909 to 1940. So as he was filling his book, which is still not full, I've been working on them for many, many years. Strictly coin roll hunting, not going out to the shops or internet or anything and buying the coins for these holes. I just coin roll hunt. So subsequently, these are not found in circulation very often, so there's still some holes in here. I will complete it someday. That's one of my collecting missions. But I was able to, over the years, finish the book he got for me because, well, I started filling this book in the 70s, and this one goes from 41 to 74, so of course all the memorial cents from 59 to 74 got filled in rather quickly just from pocket change. And through the time collecting and coin roll hunting with my grandfather, I was able to plug in all the holes for the wheat cents here. But once this was finished, when I was about 10 or 11 years old, it got filed away and nothing really happened with it after that. Since then, I've gotten more knowledgeable as a collector, as we all should. And I come to find out that there are lots of other things I could have been looking for other than just the year and the mint mark for these coins. Namely, all the stuff that's covered over here on the Lincoln Cent Resource website. Double dies, different mint mark styles, that's kind of cool. Large date, small date, repunched mint marks, you name it. Also cuds, die cracks, lamination errors. All these things I had no idea even existed back in the 70s and early 80s when I was working on this book. So, with the help of my handy-dandy USB microscope, I'm going to go back and do some more hunting. So we're starting with 1941, Philadelphia. And I'm just going to go around the coin looking for anything that's weird. Now there is a 1941 double die obverse. Let's pull that up over here. 1941. And in fact, there are many, 1 through 5. And you can see some doubling here, and In God We Trust. That's pretty easy to see. And these are the most popular ones that they put on this page here. So I'm in this area. But this coin is pretty worn. So unless I have something really obvious like this on the coin, it's going to be hard to tell if this is one of the double dies. Not really seeing anything here. In specific terms, I'm looking for this on the O of God, and I don't see anything here. So let's move on to the other parts of the motto. Now there's a little bit of weirdness right here on the T. I can attribute that to damage because there's also some damage here. There's a little bit going on at the top of the U, but it doesn't match the double die over here. Clearly these are on the sides, so there's nothing going on here. I'd say this is not one of the double dies. Let's go on to the rest of the design here. Nothing going on with Liberty. One thing I'm looking out for, particularly with these wheat cents, is this area of the die. There's a very small area between the letters, and this is a weak part of the die. Parts of the die tend to break off, and these areas in between the letters fill in. In fact, there's something called the BIE die chip, as it's known, and this area right through here breaks off, and it looks like there's another I in between the B and E. That's pretty common. Also, these little areas in the letters will break off and fill in, so we'll be on the lookout for those as we go along. But nothing on this 1941 Philadelphia. Let's move over to the 41 Denver. Nice clear date there. I don't see anything with Denver for the double dies, so we'll discount that. We can go on to repunch mint marks at some point. Oh, let me go here. There we go. There's nothing listed for 1941, so I won't spend too much time looking for those errors. Ah, here we go. Here's something nice. And you can see pretty much where it starts. These striations in the metal, this is a woody scent when they were making the planchet. The metal mixture of copper and tin and zinc was off slightly. So these areas right here are showing up. Those are possibly a little bit higher concentrations of zinc or tin in the metal compound. And they show up and they resemble wood grain, so these have earned the nickname woody scent. Doesn't add a whole lot of value. Some collectors go for the woody scents. There we go. There's a nice zebra stripe mixture there. That's kind of cool. Nothing going on there. Yeah, it goes all through the coin. That's pretty neat. So let's go over to 41S. Again, nothing listed for repunch mint marks. I don't believe there are any double dies. Nope. So let's take a quick trip around the coin. A lot of damage through here. The G is pretty much gone. Damage or wear. This part right here is probably damage, and this is probably wear. And a lot of damage and wear over through this area too. So a well-loved and well-circulated coin. Let's see. It's the Philadelphia, so of course there won't be any repunch mint marks on it. There's a double die on the S, so I'll look for that when I get to it. Nope, nothing going on here. Over to the D. Pretty good hit right here on the D. Almost looks like there's another double serif kind of pointed out there, but that's just damage from contact. You can see the D is pretty well flattened through this area there. And you got to remember, wheat cents saw a lot of circulation. A penny still had quite a bit of buying power back in the 1940s. It's not like today where you get them in change and just want to throw them on the ground because they're pretty much useless. Yeah. This is an error of sorts. This is in the 1942 S slot, and clearly there's no S mint mark here, so yet again, my 8-year-old self made an error. But once again, I've got a coin to pull out of my book. So this book is not complete. Now I've got to find the 1942S to fill the hole. Okay, this is the 1943 steel cent. And one bad thing I know about this right off the bat is I cleaned this. Had no idea back then when I was a kid that you should never, ever, never, ever, never clean coins. And I thought it'd be neat if this was shiny. So I actually took, see if I can get a little bit of a picture of it for you guys. There we go. I can back this off quite a bit. Anyway, if you can see the discoloration around the coin there, on the paper, all through here, this is, I think it was some kind of silver polish my grandfather had at the house. So while the coin was actually in the hole, I put some silver polish on a little cloth and rubbed Lincoln crazy. And some of that silver polish is still here. It stained the album, but it made the penny really shiny. Don't do that. It destroyed any numismatic value this coin had, which is pretty much not much anyway. But when you look at a cleaned coin under the microscope, it's very obvious the coin's been cleaned. You can see it's shiny throughout the field here, and right around the design is a halo of the old dirt, the old, not really luster, but the original surface of the coin remains in this halo effect around all the design elements. And there you can see pretty well. You can see where it was polished in this direction. So there's a shadow around the elements of the old dirt. So this has clearly been cleaned. It doesn't matter how well someone has cleaned a coin in the past. If you're looking at it under a microscope and you got a keen eye, you'll always be able to tell that a coin's been polished or cleaned. And of course the experts will be able to see that, and if you send it away for grading, it will say improperly cleaned. It's a shame I cleaned this. It was in pretty good shape. Look how clear and undamaged that Liberty is. So I took a coin that was in really good shape and not damaged, and I damaged it by cleaning it. Old Abe looks good. All the letters look good. Ah, what a shame. If I could go back in time and scold my 8-year-old self, I'd do it. Okay, here's 1943D. Actually, I'm going to go back to the 43 Philadelphia Mint. So I may have blundered a whole lot more than I thought. This is a double die example. Oh, I lucked out. Clearly I did not clean the 1943 double die. So at least there's that. Here's the other indicators of a double die. Extra thickness on the R here. I don't have it here, so lucked out. That did not destroy a valuable coin. Okay, going around the D. You see some weird things going on here in the field. Little, appears to be chunks of metal, extra deposits of metal. This might have been a replated cent. Now what they used to do, and actually still do, is they take old corroded 1943 steel cents and then replate them. And that destroys all numismatic value if you have a replated cent. This might be. There's another little area of weirdness here. I don't believe I cleaned this one. I'm not seeing any indications of cleaning. Some more there. It also might be some corrosion of the steel, because these are called steel cents, but what they actually are a steel core, and they're plated with zinc. They're kind of the opposite of the modern coins that we have now, which are zinc in the core and then plated with copper on top. These are actually plated with zinc on top. Okay, let's go back, because I remember there was a repunched mint mark for the S. There's also one for the D. Is it? Oh, I'm the wrong one here. 43 DD. Let's go back to the D real quick. I didn't see any indications of a double mint mark punch there. Nope, nothing. So back to the S. You can see a little steel corrosion coming through the outer zinc layer here. I'm not seeing anything else. There we go. There's clearly some corrosion. This is the zinc layer, and this is chipped off, and you see the steel layer underneath it, and the steel is rusting. Here, there, all through here. So what the people who had coin ads and magazine ads for coins from 60s and 70s all the way up through today, they would take these corroded steel cents, rip off the zinc plating, and replate it so it's nice and shiny. And they called them reprocessed steel cents. Big bubble right there, one there. And they typically sell them 3 for $1, and then you would join their coin club and they'd send you more coins in the mail, and if you kept them they'd charge you, and all kinds of hilarity and big coin bills would ensue. Obviously, a replated steel cent is technically damage and has no numismatic value. It's just novelty value. And a lot of them find their way into people's coin books, like mine here, because, like me when I was 8 years old, didn't know any better at the time. There we go. Some more of the woody effect that was very prominent in the 40s and 50s. The mint, for whatever reason, just could not get a consistent mixture of copper for their planchets. So there are a lot of woodies out there. Nothing on the double die list until 1955, and that one is a killer double die. So I'm not going to be able to look for double dies for a few years here. Go back to repunched mint marks. Nothing until 47, so I can just do a quick tour around these coins for the next couple of years and mints. So on these coins, mainly I'll be looking for lamination errors, die cracks, cuds, some damage on this. You can see that the lower part of the L has been obliterated almost away, where it almost looks like an eye. There's also damage here on the eye, curling this around. That will trip a lot of new collectors up, thinking that this is a misprint. I've heard it called many, many times. The L is misprinted. No, it's not. It's just damage. And coins aren't printed anyway, they're minted. So things that new collectors pick up, sometimes rather quickly, especially if they're in a group with a lot of us old-time collectors, and we try to helpfully correct them, get the right terms, help them understand how a coin's made, what kind of errors are actually out there, educate them so they're not missing real errors, and they're not saving coins thinking they're errors when they're actually just damage. Striking out on pretty much finding anything interesting so far. This 1945 has seen not too much wear. You can still see some of the original mint luster in areas around the coin and a little bit of toning. Now this would probably grade, and let me look at it here, an about uncirculated. Maybe a little lower. unless your wheat cents in these areas are an extremely high uncirculated mint state, there's no real added value. They generally sell between 3 and 5 cents a piece tops. So, one neat little thing here, this is a die chip. You can tell the intended area of the 5 starts here and goes straight across. This little addendum here underneath the 5, this extra lip, that's a die chip, where the portion of the die that would have struck this area was chipped off, so the metal flowed around it and caused a little extra bump on the 5. That's a die chip. It's a genuine mint error. It adds very little, if any, value to this coin. But because there's one die chip, sometimes there's more. And that might be the case right here. This might be a little die chip. Hard to tell sometimes in the microscope. Sometimes you just got to put the naked eye on it, see actually what you have. That might be a die chip, might not be. And I'm not seeing anything else anywhere, so moving on. At the 1945D, this coin is in decidedly worse shape. No mint luster left to this one. A lot of corrosion on this one. I just love it when copper corrodes, it turns green. A la the Statue of Liberty, which is made of copper, and because of all the exposure to the sea air and the seawater, has turned green over the years. So if you find a copper penny that's been in the ground for a while, chances are it starts to turn green. And in some areas of the country, depending on the acidity of the soil, it can actually turn black. But the green's pretty cool. Moving on, 45S. That is a very weak S. See a little bit of weirdness up here. Top of the 4, top of the 9. Maybe a little bit here on the side and down under here. That is machine doubling. I've covered that in other videos. Quick recap on that is after the cent is struck, for just a little bit of a microsecond, it's still really hot and partially liquid. And as the coin is ejected from the die, it smears a little bit. It gets stuck in the die as it's ejected, and the details tend to smear a little bit. Sometimes just a little bit, sometimes a whole heck of a lot, and a lot of new collectors mistake that for double the die, and it's not. So that's where knowing how a coin is minted and what a true double die looks like, that you don't get confused when you see something like machine doubling. Damage. Nothing going on there. Lots of damage on that date and mint mark. Some more of the woody scent effect there. Yeah, these scents are so beat up that when I do come to the years that have possible repunch mint marks or double dies, it's going to be pretty hard to see them. But then again, that's why I bought the microscope. To see even the most minute details. Pretty funky looking bee here. There might have been a die chip in this area, or it might just be a pretty good hit right here on the bee. Maybe You can see a little bit of a curve here, like maybe another coin hit it, pushed all the metal that way. Combination of one or both, but it's so minor, has no real effect on it, on the value anyway. Okay, getting to 47, there's a double mint mark on the S, so we're coming up on another good opportunity to find something cool. Just a moment, stay tuned, so they say. Okay, this area here on the rim is probably the start of a cud. I'm not seeing too much in the way of damage up here on the rim to push this metal over. So what this might have been is the start of a die chip along the rim, and then the metal filling itself in. This would be called a cud. A cud is just a die. A die chip is something in here away from the rim where extra metal gets not stamped onto the coin. What happens near the rim is called a cud. So that's probably the start of a very small cud. And as the die strikes hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of more cents, more areas of the rim would break off, and this cud here would start taking a larger portion of the design away. And those are collectible. This is something very minor, not a big deal. Moving on. Nothing going on there. So we're over to the S now. And there is an S repunched mint mark known. So let's check it out. And if that's the best picture available, that is going to be tough to spot. See a little bit of doubling here. There's a very small serif on top, larger serif underneath, and then a little bit of doubling here, then a thick part of the serif down here. And this is beat up just enough where I don't think I could tell. And it has some of the indications of very, very thin part of the serif up top, very thick at the bottom. That could also be from the damage I'm seeing here. This mint mark has been hit quite a few times. And if there was a double serif up here at the very top where it's thin, it's been obliterated over time. So hard to tell. I would hope not. I would hope it's not repunched mint mark scent, because it's so damaged it doesn't matter anyway. Nothing there. Moving on to 1948. Lots of damage on that Liberty. Look how much this Y has been smeared over from contact damage. Same with the T here. Decades in pocket change have really taken its toll. And now there's no repunch mint marks until 1953. We already know there's no double dies until 1955. So these coins I could scan through pretty rapidly. The R is pretty much gone. So for these coins, I'm just trying to find you guys some die chips or die cracks. Some of the more common errors. Nothing. Damage right here. A hit. Peeled away some of the metal of the O. That's not a double die. Pretty major hit here on the 9, smearing the metal over there. Lots of hits on the D. Nothing. Again with the corrosion, the copper here. You can tell this coin is in decidedly better condition than a lot of the other ones. Still a little bit of mint luster on this one. It's one thing I haven't had too much of an opportunity to talk to you guys about is toning on Lincoln cents. I've talked about the corrosion turning green, and you've probably noticed a lot of these coins have different colors to them. Some are brown, some are red, some have black areas. Copper will naturally tone from the bright reddish orange that you see on a new cent. Over the years, it slowly turns color. Starts red, starts working its way to brown. Now, if you find an uncirculated coin that's been graded, we'll say MS 63, Mint State 63, pretty high up there on the uncirculated grading scale. You'll also see another designation. It'll say MS 63 red, MS 63 brown, or red brown. So what they're doing is also grading the coin based on how much toning has occurred. And for the very scarce and valuable coins, you want to get a very high numerical grade, MS63 and above, all the way up to MS70 being perfect. But you also want to find a coin that's red, one that has not toned severely to this chocolate brown color that cents sort of degrade into the toning. A lot of collectors don't care about toning. A lot of collectors do. And if you have two identical coins in the same exact numerical grade, I can pretty much guarantee you the red one will sell first, and probably sell for a lot more money. Okay, so far we're at 1951. I think what I'll do is when I get to 1955, I'll take a break. Because, one, I know that I have a 1955 double die coin. And if that didn't drop your jaw, go Google it. But there's a catch. And we'll talk more about that when we get to 1955. A little bit of a cud here developing on the rim. Not worth noting in the book. So 52D. Coming up on our last chance to check for a repunch mint mark here in the 1953 and 4. Nothing there. Possibly a die crack. It starts here at the rim, goes through the field, then through the device, and back through the field. That's when you can tell it's a die crack and not a contact strike. is when it goes through the field, then through, well, the letter here, letter T, then back onto the field. A contact mark, if it's on the letter here, will generally just be on the letter, and maybe the rim, the raised part, will leave the field unaffected. Nothing going on there. Is probably damage. You can see the L has been pretty well hit through here. Looks like the rim right here took a hit, pushed the metal over to the L, hit on the L, pushed the metal into there, so I don't think that's a cud forming. It's most likely a hit. Okay, there is a 1953 repunched mint mark for the Denver Mint. Let's take a look at it. This is clearly not it. There's a lot of extra D showing here, making this very thick, and extra serifs there, 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 and there. Clearly, I do not have that. Bummer. Alright, 53S. Nothing known for repunch mint mark. Some damage to the W here at the bottom. You can see this has been smeared up. These are raised. So a hit from the bottom of the coin going toward the rim. Maybe a slight indication of a hit here as well. The bottom of the eye is all fat. Lots of contact damage over there. All right, one more year, 1954 to check. Then we're going to take a break, and I'll come back with my 1955 double the die cent. And during the break, you can go Google that and see why it raises the eyebrows of a lot of collectors. But I can already tell you right now, anyone who's collected coins for a long time and knows about the 1955 double die probably knows what I have up my sleeve right now, and I'm being a little bit cheeky. Alright, last looking coin. Oh, what have we have here? According to this, there's no 1954S. Well, again, this is the top 50 repunched mint marks. This has all the indications of a repunched mint mark. Because if this is a die chip, it is mimicking the S very clearly, very closely. This would be a coin that I would post on one of the coin forums and ask for more opinions on. That, to me, looks like a repunched mint mark. It's not listed on lead consent resource, but let's go check out the rest of the web. Okay, so it's not this one. It's a D. It's not that one. Here we go. We have a winner. There it is. So this is a 1954S repunch mint mark 004. There we go. I found something for you guys. How cool is that? Exactly. And coincidentally enough, this is the last coin I was taking you guys through on this little hunt. I'm stopping at 1955. The next coin you see will be the 1955. It will be a doubled die obverse coin. So come back and check that out later. Right now, I've got to take a picture of this and go brag on one of the Facebook coin sites. I finally found an RPM, and I've got it attributed to the 1954S RPM 004. So, banner day. Come back and check me out with the 1955 cent later.